as you know, this always takes me, my YouTube, a minute.
So we got to straighten up a little bit, huh?
You do. You are being recorded, however, the video isn't on yet. So.
Do you want this
You are live.
you want that read into the record? Or just that it was presented?
Yeah, it's up to you.
I'm going to read the first paragraph because that basically tells, this is from the Rodeo and Fair Association. Denise Thompson presented this. The Rodeo Club received the Broadwater County Trust grant in the amount of $47,689.30 from Broadwater County, deposited into the Rodeo Club April 7th, 2025. To date, the only grant item purchased has been a 72-inch Stihl Skag mower, Velocity Plus, 38 horsepower Kohler, in the amount of $15,949. The Rodeo Club did a great deal of research to find the best mower for the job, mowing a large and rough terrain. We thank the trust board, etc. And then it goes on to basically say they're still researching and taking bids for the rodeo stands upgrades in the senior center area. So that'll be presented into the record. Cool. Any public comments that are not on the agenda? Anything you'd like added? Seeing none, we'll proceed. Please review your minutes and
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to receive the minutes as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Financial report and claims.
So, Mr. Chairman, I have no claims for you, but if you'll go to your financial statement, which I'm going to have to borrow Doug's because I didn't make a copy for myself. Say I am. Oh, there's my copy.
Oh, I had two.
You did. Okay, so if you'll notice that the public enhancement project, the fair and rodeo grounds, was paid in the amount of $47,689.30. So your First Premier Bank, as of yesterday or today, was $3,028,258.15. Which leaves $369,789.72 in your county account, and there were no claims.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Thank you.
Okay, and no claims. We are down to the Broadwater County Lions Club and the Corn Dog Wagon Upgrade Grant. Who's presenting that?
I am.
Okay. Give your
State
please.
name, please, for the record.
Yep. Don Hanson. I'm Don Hanson with the Broadwater County Lions Club, and we have a project that we'd like to request a grant to help us upgrade our current deep frying system in our corn dog wagon so we can bring it up to Montana State Fire Code as required per the Montana State Fire Marshal Bert Johnson. Currently, our corn dog wagon needs a fire suppression system and vent to bring it up to the state fire code this year, which we haven't done yet. This grant would enable us to purchase a machine. It's called an auto fry that has a built-in Ansel fire suppression system. The auto fry is approved with its self-contained fire suppression system by Montana State Fire Code. That's our project. Cost of the project is $16,500, and we would be able to come up with a third of that cost from the Lions Club. We'd spoken with the state fire marshal last year in June, and we were told that we could sell corn dogs with our current setup for the remainder of last year. But we would have to have a fire suppression system by 2025. So we looked at some different options, and we looked to put a suppression system in our trailer, and that cost was roughly $22,000 to $25,000 for the vent and the system. I don't know if we could physically do that, because we have an old camp trailer, without, I don't know, I don't think we could do it. I don't think it has the structure to hold that system up. So we looked into it further, and Joe and Kim had run auto fries before in the commercial bar, and it's a solid unit. So we looked into that in lieu of the Ansel system. And the auto fry has its own built-in. It's a self-contained unit, has the fryer in it, and then it has a fire suppression system built into it. And the nice thing about this is we can pick it up and move it if we had to abandon this trailer for another used trailer, and then it's just a plug-and-play unit. So we thought this would probably be the best way to go, cost-wise and also utility-wise. If we needed to set up for another event that was outside the trailer, we just pick it up, move it. As long as there's a 50 amp service, we can plug it right in. So that's where we are there. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Questions?
So if you can't get this, you're out of hot
We're not
dogs.
selling corn dogs. Unless we cook them outside somewhere. And Kim isn't going to
I
do
don't know if
that.
you can put those on a fork, can you?
Never thought of that.
Get an auto rotator.
They started shutting people down last year because they shut some people down at the State Fair in Great Falls because they didn't have suppression. And we'd talked to some other groups. Because we're nonprofit, we tried to go to the state legislature, and they just have too many things that are more important than this going on. So we weren't going to get excluded as a nonprofit.
One of the major rubs is the Lions Club is not strictly recreation, but in doing my homework on that, they support recreation. They provide, being a nonprofit, all the money they gather up goes to grants and recreation and lots of other things in the community. So it's a little bit of a stretch in that it's a nonprofit Lions Club, but it's like we do. It supports recreation. So that's my thought on that.
That was my, as I read through it, it's like, okay, you guys do some recreation stuff, but you do a lot of other stuff. But you are active in the community for a lot of community things. The same way I view it as a stretch, but if you didn't get all of this grant request, would you have any capacity to come up with any differences to still get it?
We can come up right now with a third,
The third,
30%.
30%,
okay.
or 33%.
That's 30, I think.
I think it's in there.
Of the 16,500 for the total project, they're requesting 11,550.
Right, we can come up 4950 right now.
Any further discussion?
Are you aware of any other avenues to help you come up with some of that?
What's your pleasure?
I think we should support them and do this. It is a little bit of a stretch, but it's a worthwhile one.
Virgil?
I'm with Mr. Brecker.
I have to abstain.
Kim Kondlek is a Lions Club member, and so she'll abstain. You can have an opinion if you'd like. You can't vote.
Right. Well, my opinion is that I think it's good because the events that we do raise these money for help support everything in the community. If we didn't have the events, and the Corn Dog Wagon is rodeo and the Fall Fest, which are big events that a lot of our income comes from. If we were to not be able to do that, that would take away a lot of the income that we do help the community with, and other,
Any public comment on this?
Hi, I'm Gary Olson, member of the Lions Club as well.
Probably need to come forward,
Thank you,
Gary.
Gary, sorry. Now official.
Could use my teacher voice, I don't need this. But at any rate, I was just going to add a little bit to the recreation aspect of it. If you've been by the baseball fields over here at McCarthy Park, you've seen our Lions banner hanging there because we do support Little League and have for many, many years. We supported the kickoff to Broadwater County High School baseball as part of their program. This weekend, we have the Easter egg hunt, which is, you know, there's a lot of little kids out there can't wait for that to happen, and that's definitely recreational. Just those kind of things. I think there's probably more I can't think of right offhand, but everything we make goes back to the community in one form or another, and a lot of it is towards recreation. So thank you for your consideration.
Well, that was good input, Gary. Appreciate that. That's,
So we need a motion?
we do.
I'll make that motion. If it wasn't good enough the first time, I'll say it officially. I'll make a motion.
Motion to
Approve this grant.
approve this grant request.
A second.
And we have a motion and a second to approve this grant request. Any further discussion?
I just want to say I appreciate the input and the insights. I think, yeah, it's a stretch for us, but they do a lot of stuff that gets into the recreation side, so.
We're all aware this may open up a can of worms for us in the future, but I think it's a good enough organization that I think we should do the stretch, is my comment on it. But okay, any further comment? Any further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Please note that Kim Condlek abstained. Motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
McCarthy Park, tennis court repair.
Hi, I'm Liz Wishman, and I'm a part of Big Sky Big Leadership, and we have a community project that we were assigned to do. And so you may have seen the Meet Your Community event at the fairgrounds a couple of weeks ago. That was one of the groups. Another group did the Big Sky Little Pantry that's behind the fire station now for impoverished people who may need a quick meal. And our group, consisting of Alex Potter, Gord Pierce, Lauren McLaughlin, and myself, decided to take on looking at the tennis courts, the basketball courts, that area of McCarthy Park that is in need. They haven't seen any changes in 18 years, any updates. So we looked at it, and the quotes that we got were up to $1 million to redo it. And we couldn't see that, considering that there is a possibility of having a new community center that likely could have the tennis courts there as well. And so what we looked at doing is extending the life of them. We have up to 10 more years on the asphalt that's there, and so we looked at filling the cracks, and then we went on to painting as well. So we found a man out of the area that filled the cracks for approximately $5,000. We haven't gotten the bill yet. And BCDC has been helpful in helping us get money to pay for that at this point. We would like to reimburse them for that. But then also the tennis team is looking at helping as well. We talked to Rotary some. And then we thought, well, let's just have it professionally painted so that, we have it done right. So I got a quote for that, and it's $20,000 a court, so it would be $80,000 to paint the tennis court, of which we've got a lot of volunteer labor and a lot of willing hearts here. So I came up with an itemized list of expenditures that we would like to consider to improve that area, to improve the park in general, considering that we also have new playground equipment coming in as well. It would be just beneficial just to upgrade it all the way around. So I have, this was not in the packet. Can I
Certainly.
pass these out so you can see? These are estimated costs. These are not set in stone. We were trying to get solid information. It didn't quite come together, but I have those figures. Elizabeth? I believe the cost for the paint was actually low because I miscalculated the size. I actually went out there and mapped it out. The cost of the paint would probably be closer to $6,000. And I realized that on the way in that I had forgotten to update that.
Any questions?
So you're requesting 30,000, is that what you're requesting?
Yes, that's what our request is, yes.
And the total project is 45? Because these numbers only add up to 43,000.
I think if you add 5,000 to there, it makes it
Oh, up here.
42,000.
Okay.
So,
No, I was just
and of course,
looking at
these are approximate numbers too.
Yes, I updated those this morning actually
So
compared to
they've
what.
changed just a little?
A little, yes.
So the requested amount is still the same? 30?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the things that came up discussion-wise is because the grant specifies repair and maintenance or repairs on the project. That's one of the things that we, as a trust board, have shied away from is doing maintenance. But I think this falls under a lot more than maintenance. This is a project to bring it up to standards. And as you haven't been back to us for money in years, since the last time we probably did this. So I don't think this is really considered a repairs and maintenance project. I think it's considered an independent project, which is looked on more favorably by myself.
So the,
I noticed that
Right.
it's marked on our private land. Is that correct?
It is not, it's actually owned by the city.
Okay.
Yes.
It needs to be corrected.
Okay, yes, yes. There's a little scramble toward the end to get it in on time, I think is what it came down to.
So one other question I had is, are the tennis courts, you've got the basketball courts, the tennis courts, pickleball, is it always open and accessible to the public, or are they locked?
They
How
are
does that
locked.
work?
They are locked. Certain people have the codes depending on who the leaders are for the group. So like, of course, John Odell, the sheriff's office has the code. We do because we're working on it. Pickleball leaders have it. It is somewhat shut down because of the need to try to keep it nice so we don't have people coming in there to roller skate and to wreck it. So it's for the leaders have the code so that they can have access, but also so that it's not for the general public at any given point. Does that make sense? So that it keeps it up to a standard that we can still use it for tennis and pickleball without worrying about things happening outside of the leadership's control, I guess.
So the public can't just go play tennis whenever they want to, or pickleball,
I
just basketball?
believe they can, but they have to have the code. They have to have some leader of a group
Know
allow
that
them
they're-
in. Yeah. Yes. Is
Going
that
to
correct?
be
Does
there.
anybody?
As far as I know, we're called the Sheriff's Department.
And the sheriff's department will note who has it and who,
I don't know what their process looks like on their end.
Hi, I'm Eric Crush, Public Works Director for the city. At the moment, that is correct. You can go to the sheriff's office, you can get the key, and then you can go in there and play tennis. We're really trying to keep the vandalism down that can go in there. So they are correct in what they're saying. So we do try to limit the access so that we can keep everybody safe, as well as maintain and keep the stuff safe that's in there at the moment. So Just wanted to say that, not to steal from your show. I greatly
Right.
appreciate what they're doing with all the work that they're doing as well.
So the public can go in there as long as they,
Go
That's
through
what
the
I'm
correct
saying.
channels.
Exactly.
Yes,
Okay.
they can.
Okay.
Yep.
You might want to put some signage up that directs the public that there is a channel to do it. I'm not doing tennis anymore, but that was a great sport, and we had access to courts. You know, this was open forever, but it's, if it would, you know, for access, call.
Yes, yes.
That's a great point. It is.
And I actually thought that we should have a sign that said, if the kids' basketballs go in the tennis court, please call the sheriff's office, non-emergency number. And then maybe in doing that, then the sheriff's office can also connect with some of those kids who may need a little more direction. So
Yeah.
we could also include that, something like that on a sign easily enough.
Great, great.
So is it I got a couple of questions. One is, so has the painting been done?
No, the paint has not been touched in 18 years, I don't believe.
Okay, so this list is of stuff that needs to be done.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
The only thing that has not been done, or that has been done, is that the cracks have been filled.
Okay, so that's been done.
Yes,
Okay.
but we have not been billed yet for it.
Most of the maintenance that in the past has been done by the city of Townsend. Is that correct?
I believe so, but I don't think much has been done in 18
No,
years.
it's been a long time going back to when I was on city council. I remember things going, it goes back a ways.
Yeah, yes,
So your proposal is for a total project cost of $45,000.
approximately, yes, yes.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to figure out how this fits together, because I think maybe you've,
These numbers are very likely not exact to what you had
They go
in the
into
grant
the
application.
rotary
Yeah.
account for the cash.
so if I assume that it says projected fundraising from the tennis team is 3,000, so that's part of the 10,000 in cash, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
and that number is soft at best. At one point, we were hoping for 10,000 from them, but it sounds like the Little Guy Wrestling may have taken over some of the concessions at the fairgrounds more than originally projected.
Oh.
So, but I think we can go ahead and talk to them again about other possible fundraisers that they might be able to swing as well.
Okay. So it says BCDC has used track money for filling the cracks.
Yes,
So part of this then is a reimbursement to BCDC
correct.
for filling the
BCDC,
cracks. And that's
was-
already been done.
the cracks have been filled, but we have not paid yet.
Okay.
So they are willing to let us use that money, but we want to be able to return it to the track account.
Okay, so is that part of the 10,000?
Is it? Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So if we were to give 30, does that reimburse BCDC? Does that give you the money to do that?
I believe so, is that correct?
I don't know.
I didn't crunch the numbers very well this morning, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
That's fine. So then it says that the volunteers to paint the surfaces is an $80,000.
It was $80,000 that was the quote to paint, but the volunteers would do it for free. And I
Okay.
know that you don't like to put a value on volunteer hours because each person thinks that their hours are valued differently. But if we had to pay for it, it would be an $80,000 bill.
Okay.
So
I
in
get it.
doing that, we're saving a lot of money.
Okay.
I guess that was the message on that.
And so, for me, when I look at it, the in-kind, and you guys let me know if you think I'm off base here, but it would seem like if the total job is to get the cracks filled and the court painted, and that's what you're looking for, that you could, if that's the intent, to put the in-kind in, put that 80,000 into the in-kind. Does that make sense?
A little bit of a stretch.
Right, and of course, if people volunteered to do it, no, we're not gonna ask for $80,000 worth, but if we ask for $10,000-15,000 worth, it still would be matching your 70-30 concept.
It would be, I'm just trying to think through this, but if you took the request 45,000 and if you added in the cost to paint, then that makes that, what, 120,000. But but that's an in-kind, so they're gonna do that. So I think that it's, from my mind anyway, it would be appropriate to show that 80,000 in there. Again, I don't know what that equates to in volunteer hours or time, and I agree with that. But you have a cost, you have a bid for what it would cost to do that.
Yes,
So your choice is to, rather than ask for money to do that, you would do it as in-kind work. You would volunteer that work there. It shows up as in-kind, if that makes
correct,
sense.
correct, yes. We talked to several younger tennis players a week or so ago, and they are so excited, and they're not turning their ankles now because the cracks have been filled, and they were just jumping at the chance to get to help paint. And in doing so, them putting some of the labor in the game also makes it so they'll help police, they'll help, keep it up. Especially the younger ones will have a few years on it, at the beginning, and then get the right atmosphere there to keep it up.
So this $80,000 does not include the paint, though?
Correct.
Quote.
That quote would include the paint, but we would have to pay for the paint separately and then do it ourselves is the other option. So
Okay.
the paint would be, it's actually a higher number than that's probably closer to $6,000 for paint.
Right.
But
that
then
you
free
had up
labor.
here in that line 2.
Yes, and then free
Okay.
labor.
Okay.
To make
And
the, go ahead.
And I would urge you, if this goes through this way, if the volunteers painting sounds like a pretty no big deal thing, but there's a right and a wrong way to do
Yes,
everything.
very much so.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So that, it seems like a lot, this quote is a lot, and why is it a lot? If we can do it with volunteers, that'd be great, but just gotta remember what they're capable of, volunteers.
Correct, yes. Jeff Longrenay is also acting as a help to our group, and he actually painted the pickleball lines on there, did a very nice job, and he's kind of been voluntold to help us with the lines, and he's approved that. One of the things that we talked about is taping the lines down, and then we'll know where they are. So all we have to do is lift that paint off and then repaint, on the appropriate spaces for the lines. So,
Does the city of Townsend have a budget to help do the maintenance on the parks and this sort of thing?
I asked this morning to Eric, and he is not at liberty to talk about it, so I do need to ask the mayor on that. I'm not certain what their budget is on that.
To make this, on your matching funds, of the $10,000, if the $5,000 was contributed by BCDC and we're going to give it back, it basically knocks that down to basically $5,000.
Correct. Yes.
But following that lead, let's drop that, the $5,000. Let's take that $5,000 and still and raise your matching in-kind service from $3,000 to $8,000. It still puts you well within your guidelines. And we could, because of the $80,000 quote, we could hype that any way we want. But I think you're within your guidelines the way our requirements are set up. That's my thought on it.
And, okay, yeah, no,
Does that make sense?
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Wait, it says municipal on here, where does it say private? Where did Virgil see private? Because it says municipal on land ownership.
maybe
Part of
when
the
they check
checkoff.
it.
Yes, there was a check
I
up
think
on
it
that.
was just a-
It says
Our
public.
Right
selection.
here. Well, it says
Oh,
municipality.
It's on, it's number,
Public
number
versus-
5 on page 4.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
you're
number
right.
5 on one page off.
It is, does say private, but it is public, is
So that's public, so that, okay.
Should be public, yes.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Page 5.
So after we've asked all these questions and led you down rabbit holes, is the $30,000 still the request?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I think that we ought to take, if the paint cost out of this 80,000, take that down, make that 74, add that in as the matching part of the in-kind.
Sure make it look good.
Well, I think it's real that way. I mean,
And we attempted to see if that was even a possibility. And yes, it is a big project to paint it. And so we asked for a bid because we wanted to make sure we had done it right. And we have enough intelligence and capabilities in this community that we can do it well. So we're not going to send the kids out with the rollers right away or whatever. But, you know, we're going to make sure that they get to be a part as well, but not in the critical areas.
Any further discussion?
I will say that Jeff Langley is an engineer,
Mhm.
and he is quite meticulous. So if he's leading the painting with the kids and whatnot, I'm thinking it's gonna get done very well. That's just a thought.
It's my understanding when they do a highway project and they paint the striping for that is they grind it a little.
Yes.
Lower the paint to the surface and then use paint to fill it back in.
There,
Nothing to do with the grant, just.
there are some
Information.
technicalities in the painting we need to work out. One of them is that the cracks are kind of spongy. We have to figure out what we can use to make sure that it adheres. Also, we have to power wash the whole thing and get it, you know, of course, get a good surface for the paint. And yeah, there's a little bit more research to do it correctly, but we'll do our very best to make it high quality.
I think it's good that you've got the kids doing a lot of this work, because it does make a difference in the longevity of that place. So that's my experience.
Gives them ownership.
That's
Yes,
right,
yes.
that's right. So,
And tennis is a lifetime sport.
it is.
That's
As
pretty-
is,
a good one.
pickleball is getting huge.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Any, with no further discussion?
No, we're just asking all these questions to try and make things work, not trying to make it not work.
Yeah.
right, right. We're excited about it. We want to see that corner of town revitalized. You know, I think that it would be good for everyone to go by there and see, you know, this bright new future rather than something that's kind of decrepit and falling apart. So, anyway, thank
Yeah.
you.
I went by the other night, they were having a meet out there, and they were having fun.
Good, good.
Appreciate your efforts too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, before you make a decision on this, is there something you want changed on these lines? And I need to know specifically, like, what they, I mean, or is it just good the way it is? It's just the request amount that's the
Al,
most
do you want
important thing?
to, we'd have to put that in the form of a motion to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
that.
So,
I just want to be clear on that, what it's supposed to say on those lines.
good. I'm
Okay.
glad you're asking that question to be clear.
All right.
From my perspective, all I would like to, now you had some other comments, Steve, but I would like to see the $74,000, which is the difference between the quote with the paint or without the paint. So taking that out, because you've already got it up above, and we made, at least I made that change to 6,000 up there.
Yeah.
That leaves 74,000. I think that it's appropriate to add that 74,000 to the in-kind column, because that's being done by volunteers. And if it's the kids, they've got a number to look at and see how valuable their participation in work is, and I think that's really a good thing to do.
So that would be 77,000.
77,000. Now, Steve had some comments about the,
My concern is we're adjusting we're heading the same direction. We're adjusting their formula based on an estimated bid with no complementary other bids. Maybe the next bid comes in at 25,000 or 45,000. And so if we arbitrarily hype this up, we're still heading the same direction. I would just soon leave it as is. We know it meets our criteria the way it is. That's my thought.
okay. So maybe then as we ask for the reports as they go through the project, if they got a different, and I don't know why you would go out and get another bid unless
No.
we ask you to. But maybe that final report, back when this is done, would show the actual volunteer hours.
Mm-hmm.
And we can put you can get the, I don't know, state or national volunteer hour rates. I think they're about $27 an hour now. And build those in so that your final report would show a revised budget page that would have all the in-kind in it. I think it's important that we have that ultimately.
Mhm.
Right now, it's agreed, it's like, we don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's gonna be. So, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that, as long as we ask for that in the final wrap-up report, that you show all of your in-kind, whether it's just the paint, whether it's all the other stuff, you get other money to help pay for some of the stuff, you change these numbers and balance them out.
Would you like to put that in your motion?
I will.
Specifically, wording.
Jeez, all right. I would move that we grant the $30,000 in the grant request to, I guess this is to Stoke, right?
It's through stuff, right?
And BCDC and Stoke have kind of collaborated together, so mostly Stoke one entity.
Okay, did we grant the 30,000 to Stoke /BCDC, however you guys work that out?
Now, if we're reimbursing BCDC, what's BCDC's contribution?
Well, we have trouble getting grant money, and so that's why we had asked for reimbursement, so.
Yeah, no problem with that. I mean, it's,
But if we don't get all the money back, that's fine too, we can contribute some of that way, but we support the project for sure.
So maybe just a Stoke, and then they take care of that on their end?
yeah, let's leave it at Stoke and it leaves it clean.
Yeah, that's sitting on here.
Okay, sorry. I'll amend my motion. Let me start over, okay? And delete everything I said.
We're not amending, Robert's Rules of Order, the motion has not been clarified or
That's
made
right.
or seconded, so it does not need to be amended,
Okay.
re-presented.
Okay. So I would move that we grant the requested $30,000 to the Stoke project for doing the tennis, basketball, pickleball courts. And that we would ask that the final report from Stoke would show the in-kind contribution numbers that are based on the volunteer hours put in or other funding coming in, those kind of things, or if you get other money, the cash amount. So you would show us in the final report the balance of all this, so that we have it. Yeah.
Not sure we can have all of that in there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to rephrase it just a little, and you keep in. The motion has been made to approve a grant to Stoke in the amount of $30,000 with a follow-up requesting a breakdown of your in-kind contributions by hours.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, that, do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
I got it recorded. It's recorded. Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay,
Kim did.
thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Very good.
Very good.
And could I ask just a couple of questions? Just for
You bet.
Some clarification since John Hahn, treasurer of Stoke, and a couple things. If there's money left over, you guys pay by the invoice, right? If there's less money spent on things, because these are all estimates, a lot of estimates. If there's money left over, could that be used for a maintenance fund for future things, or should that money come back to you?
That's up to you, that's up to you guys, I don't know how you,
I'm just thinking out loud, I guess.
Have we been only basing this on invoices?
I've never invoiced a grant for you that has given money back. But I thought that was kind of your expectation, is if there was money, it wasn't all spent.
Yeah,
Money
we
was to
don't
come back.
like getting into
Okay.
future maintenance. So maintenance is
Yeah,
that's an awful one for us.
yeah.
So if, stay within your parameters of the project, and if you have money left over, probably give it back or whatever.
Okay, I just thought it'd be easier maybe if we could set up a fund, because I know the city sometimes doesn't always like to spend money on things, on maintenance, especially because I know when we did the skate park, we had to sign an MOU to maintain the skate park. And so I just didn't know if it would be the kind of same
We're
situation.
exactly the same thought. We hate maintenance. We like to do the project. We do not want to tie our funds
That's
up
why I
with
was
maintenance.
thinking that if we could develop a maintenance fund, and if we don't have to send that money back, we could develop a fund and be specifically for,
I
know.
I don't think that there's any money to send back because we pay on the invoices.
okay.
So
So you paid on the
if there was
invoices,
money
so,
left that wasn't invoiced, then it just stays in our account.
okay,
I believe that's how that works.
okay.
So
I just,
we're
wanted-
reluctant to do that, John.
that's fine, I just wanted to clarify something. Thank you.
Never hurts to ask. Okay, we're going to move on to, I think we're going to leave the bylaws for the last little bit. Do we want to withdraw any funds from Premier? We put that on a monthly meeting, so we discuss that each time. We're sitting at a little over 3 million. That gives us a little flexibility. We could draw some out. The market's down. Anticipated it should come back. We're still not in trouble. We've got nearly 370,000 in the local account and no major projects pending. What are your thoughts?
Doc said leave it.
I'm with that.
I'm with it.
Okay.
Okay, we don't need a motion on that
That's from
one.
Mr. Bertram.
Yeah. Doc said leave it. Shop teacher Bertram. Oh, gosh, any new business? Do we have anything pending? Al?
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
I just want to remind you about the training, and I'll need to know who's going to that by the 17th this week. Who's going to that training on the 23rd?
I will not be.
Okay, so Al is a no. Kim is a no.
It's probably the same as it's been the last few times, isn't it?
Yeah, unless she's gonna say something, yeah.
I'm also a no.
Okay,
I'm not going to go.
okay.
The first 3 times was actually pretty good. It's getting a little redundant
Yeah.
now. But for new board members, that's,
Yeah, exactly.
Virgil, are you gonna go on the 23rd to the training?
23rd of,
This month. They have the training at the Methodist Church.
yeah, I could do that.
Is that I think it's at 5:30, is it 5:30?
5:30.
Lunch,
5:30.
dinner provided.
Dinner, yeah, and then I think it starts at 6.
So Virgil's a yes.
Oh, it was on their minutes anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, 5:30. 5:30 to 8.
okay, let's get into bylaws. Al, you want to lead us?
They don't have to stay.
You don't have to stay for this. This is drudgery. I mean, this is.
Thanks,
There's
you
an
guys.
early withdrawal fee, you know.
Thank you.
Al, you've been taking care of us on this. What you got for us?
Oh, yeah.
Coffee's kind of dark on here.
Some of it got dark, I can't, I have to hold it up to the window to read it.
Well, you changed the 2 blues that you put in blue were
Do you want the yellow copy?
the new,
That was what was on the, I mean, the one with the yellow highlights? Is that what you're trying to
some of them
read?
were yellow and some of them were blue we highlighted. I think you just changed the
Yeah,
website address.
yes,
So you want that changed.
yeah.
Okay. And the stuff in blue, you'll need to let me know how you want fixed. Or do you want it fixed?
Okay. So, yeah, when we started talking about it, I went back through it and added a couple of edits to it.
Thank
like-
you.
Like the revised date will be, I guess that's when we revise it and then the commission can approve a date. In the second page, we had to advise the commission as to the management development of Silos Recreation Area Campground. And my question is, this still pertinent mission and purpose since the county is no longer engaged in its management? I think the issue still remains is that 2/3 of the lake shore is in Broadwater County.
It
So
really is.
this says specifically the silos because that's what's in, it's in the law, it's in the management plan for the Canyon Ferry from the BOR. But I thought it just, if everybody thinks that's still appropriate, then we leave it that way, then that's fine.
My question is, was the trust built on the management and development of silos?
That was our first priority.
Okay,
But it was, recreation was the caveat,
Right.
but the priority was the silos. And of course, the trust board managed that project.
right.
Yeah.
And so the $1 million that's been spent there by the trust board is,
So the question is, it's not our priority any longer, or is it?
Well, it's still in the law,
Okay,
addressed specifically in the law.
I think we should leave it because it is specifically mentioned in the law.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go contrary to
No,
that. So-
and the other part is there's still a lot of, I mean, we're just on the cusp of things happening, and I think we're gonna be, well, I won't say that. At least I personally will be involved, and I'll keep you informed
Yeah.
on what's going on.
very well
But I
said.
think with everything going on right now, it's it's gonna be a longer term than any others we're looking at, so. But anyway, so the answer is we'll leave. Okay. Then the dark, down at the bottom is the new website for the county,
Yep.
as well as the top of page 3. Not sure I get all this. Oh, the number 6 on the top is advisory members. Broadwater, one from Broadwater County, one from the city, and one from the public at large. And George, thank you for being here. My question is, what is their role and responsibility? You know, if I ask George, as a member at large, what's your role and responsibility, can you tell me? No. Okay. And so that's a spot I think we collectively through some effort to try and figure that out is, what's the expectation of members at large? They're non-voting, but beyond that.
You know,
what is-
I think just broader input,
Okay,
it was the original intent on that, was just broader input. When this was a 15-man board, which was totally unmanageable.
yeah.
And then, of course, the stock market crashed and we had no money for a couple of years, so, you know, we would hold a almost annual meeting and lick our wounds, but what came out of that, the attendance was so horrible accordingly, is we changed it, county changed it to a 5-man board, and then we took all of those other members who had been on, the other 10 people, and made them advisory to it. Now, subsequently, then we dropped it down to 1 from the county, 1 from the city, and 1 from the public. But it's strictly just an additional input. You know, George, representing the public, may have a different input, and the more input, the better for us.
And then if one of us is replaced, that'd be a likely drawing pool to come from, would be the advisory board.
Yeah.
So do we want to just someplace, I don't know where we put it.
I think right in that section 6, right, you just say from the public at large, and then their role would be to, and then you, right?
So I think from the standpoint of helping people try and understand why they would want to volunteer and be a advisory member, would be if we had something in here that said the role is
To provide additional input.
input. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, and it's almost self-explanatory from the standpoint, input from the county, input from the city, and then input from the public, so.
Somebody, yeah.
But that does give them a guideline.
So you want to need to add that statement. Their role would be to provide additional input.
Yes,
Input, yeah. Now, is that input to the board? Is it input on projects? Do we ask?
all of the above.
So, okay. So, yeah,
We don't want to limit anything if we can help.
provide additional
Yep.
input. Okay,
Broader input.
broader input, okay.
For additional input.
And I don't know if I had any other. I actually felt pretty good going back through it again, because they weren't.
Well, thank you for your eyes, because I have a lot of copies.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Probably, so they can hear you, George, sorry, yeah.
So the additional input you'd be looking for would be from the city, county?
You know, your public at large, your input could be from any aspect.
Okay.
Yours can be as broad as you'd like to make it. You know, the city representative, the county representative, they probably focus on their responsibilities, but yours is vast and varied.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And so if we had it's like these, we had a project that we were going through, our advisory members would be more than welcome.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Come up
And
and
provide
comment.
input on what you think about the project. In other words, just like our discussion goes on.
Yeah.
Do our advisory members get a copy of the grant projects that are being applied for?
You're on the email list. Yeah, he's on
Yeah.
the email list. He gets all the emails you guys get.
Okay, very good, so you get those.
Perfect, yeah.
He gets
Just
copies
not
of
the
everything.
hard copy.
Yep.
What's that?
Just not the hard copy.
Right, and I have some more of those. I mean, they make extra copies, so they give you 7 according to your grant proposal
Yep.
application. I do have a couple extras here, so if you, I don't know why they wouldn't get one. I mean, they couldn't. get
Yeah,
one.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, should.
I have extra ones.
if you ever want those,
I have.
Barbara has them.
Okay. No, she sends me lots of stuff.
Probably more than
too.
you want, so.
Thank you, George. Well, Boy, that's fairly clean, and Al, appreciate you going through that
Yes.
and your input on that.
So now the next step is for you to make a motion on accepting the changes, right?
Yes.
And then I need to give this to the commissioners.
Yep.
A copy of the commissioners, and then they have to, okay.
And so the only other thing I would ask is that we try and clean this up here.
What is it, what it,
That's the signature page.
you, okay, where, okay, so you're just not like on the lines and,
Yeah,
Get those
I mean,
lines
get it
out
all their names on one side and titles or positions on the other or
yeah,
something.
I wonder if Jesse is the only one that needs to sign that. I'll have to ask, is he's your representative or if I'll ask.
Jesse is our representative.
Yeah,
so
so he's coaching right now, that's why he couldn't be here, so. Yeah, so clean up this and then I'll figure it. We don't do this very often, so I always have to remember the process. Once a year.
There, we should be,
So were we ready for a motion?
We are.
I would make a motion that we accept the Broadwater County Broadwater County Trust Board bylaws as amended, to accept the amendments that we just made, I guess.
Do we have a second?
second.
Figured it'd be-
Good job, Al. I
should be you,
I
I
thought, that's it.
Or I move, or I do something.
Any further input on that? It's fairly self-explanatory, but you guys have any input? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. How often do we, it looks like the last revision was 19, so,
I think that came upon the changing of the guard. You guys were kind of working on those and then, so that was 2019. Yep. I think you started working on them and then I came on and we kind of went to the wayside. That's,
yeah. Do we want to put a definitive date to review that? Should we-
every year, like January, I think is supposed to be every year.
Oh, okay.
It's in
Really?
the bylaws that we review.
Really, I was
Yeah.
gonna say 3 years.
I was gonna go 5.
Oh, no.
It's supposed to be the first meeting of the year, the
Yep.
same one as we do
Yeah.
officers'
Yep.
bylaws.
We knew that. We were
Yeah.
just. making sure.
Absolutely.
Wink, wink.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, dang good idea.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna have to get you letters for the commissioners for these 2 grants as well that you'll need to sign.
Okay.
So I'll get with you to find out, or I can just send it to you via email. You can sign it.
Sounds great.
Kim signed the last one.
Tentative next meeting is May 13th.
I won't be able to make that one.
Virgil's gone.
I won't be able to.
Al, you're going too?
I'll be tied up. Straight jacket, so to speak.
Okay.
I'm having back
that's-
surgery next week.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right.
Al, what date works better for
Following week,
you?
I'll be around.
I am not released for any movement at all until June.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. 6
Virgil,
weeks in
how's your
place.
schedule? You can't make the 13th?
Certainly the next Tuesday I can make.
That'd be the 20th.
Okay.
Because Al's going to be gone, we're gonna need to get fairly definitive that everybody else can make it
I can make it, I don't have
on the
anything.
20th.
I'll need to check. I don't have my calendar on my phone or anything. I got mine in my basement.
You wanna use mine? It's, you know.
Hey, your calendar?
Yeah.
Sure. Can I use your money too?
I need your wallet and passcode. You know, we're still live
I
here. We're
think
trying to
I'm
do.
okay, but I'll have to verify.
Well, let's, we can get Virgil here on the 20th, so let's amend that, if everybody's okay with that, to the 20th. Aubrey, is that good for you?
And again, I have my phone, but I don't have my paper calendar, but sometimes it doesn't get transferred in here, so I will check, but I'm pretty sure I'm available that week.
We'll do a tentative on the
Okay.
20th.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, excellent. Good job today, good questions, good input. I think we're in good shape. We are